Welcome back to the show. Preventing bullying involves a commitment to creating an environment where children can thrive socially and academically without being afraid. Here from Detroit Waldorf School to elaborate on this approach is Educational Support Chair Julia Baryo. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you. Thank you for being here.
Great.
So the Waldorf approach to education is very different, I know. Can you please tell viewers a little bit about it and how it prevents bullying at school?
Well, at the Detroit Waldorf School, we focus on child development and on the individual student, and each person doing their own personal best is sort of the foundation of our philosophy. And through that, we're able to bring an appreciation of diversity and varying viewpoints and varying cultural aspects of our school community and of the broader world to the children throughout the grades, and support them in developing empathy towards their fellow human beings.
And what kind of role, when you say empathy, what kind of role does that play in preventing bullying or dealing with bullying? How does that work there?
Well, if a person is able to identify with the feelings that someone might be having, they're less likely to take aggression out onto them and might even be more likely to offer assistance. So we also try to teach our students to not be bystanders when they see another situation unfolding in front of them, but to take an active role in seeing how they might be able to remedy it themselves or to involve an adult who's able to help out them.
And are you seeing it in every grade at Waldorf School?
Seeing which?
The bullying going on. Are
well,
you seeing
it's also one of a perspective that we kind of have that bullying is maybe too harsh a word, depending on how young the children are who are acting out, that all children are sort of exploring the world and trying to figure out their place in it. And that it's really up to us as adults to sort of guide them and to nurture them and to help them see a more kind way forward through the situation. And I believe the previous guest said that, you know, people who are hurt. And so when someone is acting out in a way that seems aggressive towards others, we really try to look at what's the factors that are bringing that behavior from that child.
So in your role at school, what are you doing? Are you doing just that, where you're just trying to get through to the kids and really understand maybe what might be going on at home? What might be happening?
In my individual role, I work with one-on-one students, sometimes with learning challenges. But I don't necessarily work in that type of interference. But within the classroom, the class teachers are managing class meetings and conversations between students and parents, if necessary, when problems arise.
And let's go back to that classroom. How does the development and keeping kids together in one classroom, how can that help prevent bullying or similar scenarios?
Well, from the teacher's perspective, they're able to assess the children over a period of time and to address their individual needs and learning styles. And from the student's perspective, they're able to really begin to learn the character of their classmates and not just the personality. So we know that sometimes people act out in a certain way that's just surface, but really their character is something different. And to not react so quickly to personality, but to sort of feel the character of those around them before.
This is an interesting perspective that you brought up in the notes that you had sent to me, that fairy tales and stories of legends, saints, and heroes help build sensitivity and positive interaction. What do you mean by that?
Well, in most of those old stories, the folk tales and the fables and the traditional tales of cultures from all over the world are addressing the struggles between good and evil, and they're full of archetypes that each of us can identify with and put ourselves there to sort of see how we might react or what might be a good way to react. And the stories start off as those fables and fairy tales, but as they get into middle school, they're learning about the lives of historic figures and contemporary figures as well, and sort of seeing a way that people navigate the world and rise above their own faults or the faults of culture in general.
Do you have an example of that, like a story that you guys refer to? You don't. I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm sure there are several that people can draw upon. I want to ask you one more question here. What role can families play to prevent bullying before the children even get to school and might even act out?
Well, I mean, I think parent education is really important. And at the Detroit Waldorf School, we work really hard to bring the parents into the community and to work together with them as adults collaboratively and transparently to show the children examples of how people in the world work together, because school is really children's society.
Yeah.
They're there to learn academics as well, of course, but mostly they're there to learn how to interact with each other and how to
Right.
move forward in the world. So when parents set their children up with, you know, a kind and loving and supportive home, they're more confident to enter the classroom or enter
Right.
their own society
Yeah.
and take on those challenges.
Yeah, that all makes sense, and it's so interesting to learn about the Waldorf School because it sounds like so many different approaches there that obviously work well for kids of all ages. So thank you for what you do
Yeah,
and for
thank you
being
for
here and
having
shining
me.
light on this subject today. If you would like to learn more about Detroit Waldorf School, log on to DetroitWaldorf.org.